The woman up there on the left there. Yes.
I find what Douglas Murray is saying objectionable. He's saying in public, oh, the leaders, we mustn't say who should be in power in Egypt, but actually you're advocating behind-the-scenes action and covert action to influence it. And you also seem to me to be saying that the will of the Egyptian people, should they democratically elect the Muslim Brotherhood, who I notice you refer to as the Brotherhood, because it makes them sound more mysterious and dangerous, that actually we should start interfering then and telling Egyptians how they should vote and how their government should behave.
I hope I made it clear that I think that it would be regrettable for the Egyptian people, for the region and the international community if an extremist organisation like the Brotherhood took control of Egypt, did what it did in the Gaza, murdered the opposition and never had another election. I hope you would join me in regretting that as well.
Let's hear from Jackie Smith.
My sister and my brother-in-law live in Cairo, and they've told me Egyptians never tell us who should be our government. And they believe people power and protesting is the best way forward, and the biggest obstacle to democracy are the dictators backed by British and American military. That's the problem. Get our military out of these countries, bring them back home.
Well, they're not in their countries. They're not there. We don't have military in these countries.
Right. Well, I think you're referring to funding of the military in Egypt by the Americans.
Well, $1.5 billion in
Iraq, in Saudi Arabia.
All right.
We have our army training.
There are no troops in Saudi Arabia. There are no British troops in Iraq.
All right, let's not go down that road.
Police teams that were actually engaging actively with communities, coming under threat because of 10,000 police officers going already. You can't have it both ways as a government.
Well, it's rich to hear Jackie complaining about the cuts when these are made necessary by the appalling deficit. I make absolutely no apology. I make absolutely no apology for saying it, and I will carry on saying it. We inherited the biggest...
Wait a minute, you may not want to hear what Francis Maude has to say, but you must listen to him.
And I'll tell you precisely why I always say it, because it's always true. This last government left the biggest budget deficit in the developed world. So the big society, a bigger, stronger, more cohesive society, is incredible. We've had the big state for decades, and it's failed. We now need a bigger society.
Cliché, Francis.
It's also true,
where is
unfortunately.
The beef? David Cameron,
Douglas Murray.
I have to say, it's nice to see the people of Bristol have such fire in their belly for this question. But I have to say, I wouldn't like to see the household accounts of some of you who booed Francis Maude just now. I mean, it's not, as it were, debatable whether or not this country's run out of money. It's not, as it were, debatable whether or not the previous government maxed out all the credit cards. It's simply the fact.
But it is.
And if you just look at the situation that this country is in economically, you'd realise that. There's no reason, as far as I understand it, neither the Liberal Democrats nor the Conservative Party are committed simply to punishing the people of this country or just love taking away health provisions or for people with psychiatric problems. The fact is that cuts are necessary and they have to become somewhere. Now, quickly, the big society is, I mean, it is a very vague concept to some of us. I'm not sure what it is myself. I don't know if David Cameron's sure, but as I understand it, it's something like the flip side of the small state, which people of my conservative persuasion are very keen on, which is that people shouldn't expect the state to provide them with everything. We've created a very strange and I think rather unpleasant thing in our society, which is that if anyone expects anything, they expect it from the state. It's led to a sort of moral obesity in this country. I was speaking to a politician recently who said... Bring your remarks to a close, because we're coming to the end of the programme. Mehdi Hassan.
It can be done, and that's the first place the money should be taken from.
Francis, on this constant refrain about the economy, when you came into government, the economy was growing, borrowing was falling.
Come on, Jackie.
You can't
kidding. We've been through the deepest recession since the war. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Of course, the deficit has to be reduced.
You should be ashamed.
But you are going too far.
You left.
That's why even Liberal Democrats...
You left us stopping that.
Then, if that were true, then why was African Ireland preparing a schedule of cuts?
We have to finish the programme. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 people who'd like to speak.
The big society.
Five people on the panel, all of whom are insulting each other at the same time.